everybody out there in comic book land. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don, and if you're listening to this, you could only be here for one reason. That's a brand new episode of the Major Issues Podcast, brought to you by ComicBook. And as you know, I am never alone. Sir, please introduce yourself.
I am your Cloudus Maximus.
Cloudus Maximus is here in studio, and we're post the Avengers Infinity War trailer. I think we got the most we can get out of that.
Please, somebody save Tony. Please.
Have you seen some of the theories that's been coming out for all that craziness? People are really trying to speculate wildly as to all things coming Infinity War, but we almost had a DC-less year this year as far as movies are concerned. I mean, we had Teen Titans go to the movies, but up until the movie we'll be reviewing today, no live-action DC films. How do you feel about that?
I'm all right. They kind of like they knew what they was doing.
You think they still calibrating? You think this was a strategic
placement?
Do you think they used strategery to maneuver around?
I think so.
I mean, when it comes to movies,
the
year Marvel had this year with Black Panther, Infinity War, and the lesser-known Ant-Man and the Wasp. I mean, come on.
I mean, you gotta know. I mean, you would assume the studios know what's coming out, when it's coming out.
Yeah.
In a sense, you gotta assume they're in like cahoots with each other as far as dates and stuff.
Do you remember when they moved BVS up to March? I think it was originally going to try to come out the same month as Civil War.
Yeah. The same month, same week. Or
they're like, we'll do it first. And then they'll like us first, and then they'll blame everything on Civil War. Like, oh, you guys just copied. And nah, that's not what happened. That is not what happened there. Oh, and how poetic. BVS was the first film to feature Aquaman. The Aquaman that we'll be talking about today, because we got a super special, as special as Amazon Prime can be, look at the DC film Aquaman, the last DC film of 2018. But before we get into our full spoiler-filled review, I thought it was important to just talk about the year that DC's been having as far as media is concerned, because this year was also very important. DC dropped its streaming service this year.
With Titans. And
people have been talking some good things about Titans. I'm hoping to cover that in a future episode of Major Issues. But, the Harley show supposed to be rolling out soon, Swamp Thing, from the same director.
Gearing up.
As for this, and Marvel got their streaming service coming around the corner with Disney Plus or whatever it's called.
Yep, they trying to have everybody ghost on Netflix.
You think it's gonna work?
I don't know.
I mean, Disney got a lot of properties.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been thinking about it actually. The minute I see Netflix empty from everything that I watch Marvel wise, I may consider that fact.
Yeah,
I may jump ship.
Yeah, I mean, between Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu,
and they're
Amazon Prime,
and they're coming out with their own stuff. Scarlet Witch show, Loki show.
They're going to be putting the same thing that DC Universe is, which is putting on their own original programming. People were also trying to speculate and trying to think, like, how cool would it be to see things like Titans meet people like Green Arrow and the Flash and stuff. Now, those are two completely different flavors of ice cream, but they are both still ice cream,
right?
So you understand? So that can happen.
I mean, Batman is gonna show up. Batman's gonna only show up in Titans, I heard.
Yeah. Batman's gonna be showing up. This will be. I can't even remember the last time we had a Batman on TV, let alone a live action Batman on TV.
I don't think we haven't ever had that.
I mean Adam West is
true. Nice. With the exception of Adam West and maybe Gotham in a sense.
I mean, if you want to count that, that's another big important thing, that they're rolling the doors of that closed. Gotham, they'll be having their last season this year, and so with the last season of that, Batman showing up on Titans, Batwoman showing up in the Arrowverse. Right. They're really trying to get this Bat brand stuff, back on track. Hopefully, we hear some news about the Batman.
You hear that, Ben Affleck? You hear that?
Hopefully, we get some news on that front, though. We also were shaken to our core with the news, supposedly, that Henry Cavill is not going to be returning as Superman. But according to Jason Momoa, he's here to stay. Now, I don't know if that's something Momoa said to get people to just watch the movie.
Right. I'm glad he said that.
Stop asking me about Superman and go watch my movie. Maybe that was his case.
I mean, he defeated,
Steppenwolf single-handedly, bro. Come on, like, what are you talking about here? Marvel's gearing up for a big year next year with probably the most anticipated movie of all time.
Oh Lord,
Avengers Endgame, but DC is not falling short. You know, they're bringing Shazam next year. And doesn't that Harley Quinn movie come out next year? Or is that 2020?
I want to say 2020.
Might be 2020. I know Wonder Woman is definitely 2020.
If not 2020, then towards the ending of next year, I want to say.
Right. So a lot of people were waiting with bated breath to see.
But what about The Flash?
Yeah, a lot of people were waiting to see what this movie was going to be because Wonder Woman was a definitive line in the sand, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Wonder Woman is DC's best film.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
I think I would agree, but Aquaman was on point.
Yes. So people were wondering about this movie, where it was gonna fall. If Wonder Woman is one side of that scale, then I would guess BVS, Suicide Squad, the others on the other side of that scale. And so people were very, very interested to see how this was going to work because it wasn't dealing with the main characters of Batman and Superman, and it wasn't dealing with normal superhero directors. James Wan did the Conjuring series of films and horror films and stuff like that. And Jason Momoa, there's not many blockbuster movies with him leading. He has definitely been in some stuff, Game of Thrones most notably.
Definitely.
But he doesn't have many movies where he's the star, where he is ahead of the curve. And this film is another ambitious feat of having almost all of it in water, and having to deal with how people move in water and how people speak in water and that whole tale and all that in general. So it had a lot of missions it had to accomplish. It had a lot of things that it had to do. I think we should give our fans the best that we can as far as spoiler-free reviews are concerned. So I guess the easiest question to ask off the top is whether or not you liked this film, Claudius Maximus.
I kind of more than liked it, to be honest with you. I kind of felt almost the same way that I felt after I saw Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Granted, there were one other movie that came out that was dealing with the king, and
yeah.
But still, besides that main thing, it was still different, and that's what I really appreciated about that too.
Okay. I definitely have fun watching this movie without spoiling anything. I thought it was kind of okay. I think after sitting and watching it, I think the movie is okay. And that's not a slight because I don't think that DC was making okay movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's such a weird backhanded compliment. But that's exactly how I feel about it. It's
but to you, second best. See,
off the rip, yeah, second best film. Without spoiling it, who are some of your standouts? You would say.
Besides Aquaman,
yeah, Jason Momoa did a great job as the lead in this.
Besides the Aqua Bro, Black Manta and Mira.
Yeah, Mira played by Amber Heard. We saw her show up in Justice League. Remember that? Where she's actually explaining about Queen Atlanta and all that stuff. She plays Mira in this film, who in the comic books is the wife of Aquaman. And I think she does a great job as well. And the guy who plays Black Manta, I always get mad because I can never really pronounce his name the way I'd like to. It is oh my gosh, Yahya Abdul Mateen II.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I know, but I liked Aquaman. I liked Manta. I'm trying to see. I'm still trying to tiptoe across the eggshells. That is the spoilers of this film.
Right. Me too. That's why I'm not. Before we jump into the sea, we got to tell everybody to step on land if they don't want to.
Right. I was surprised at how many different places this movie took place in. Maybe because I just assumed that at one point they would just get into Atlantis and it would just be Atlantis all the time. But it's not. I thought that was pretty cool about it. I think that James Wan's direction is very evident here. Like, this movie doesn't look like the other movies.
Right.
Either. It doesn't, it's not shot the same way. And it's not shot the same way. Like, you don't have the same Like, I think there's some slow motion shots, but there's a lot of slow motion shots in like Suicide Squad and Justice League and Batman versus Superman. The colors are not as muted.
No. A lot of things pop. A lot of things are loud.
And they're allowed to be bright. And they're allowed to be funny. And they're allowed to tell jokes. We'll get into all the nitty gritty of that in the spoilers. But yeah, I would say I would recommend seeing it, but mostly because I think that this film is going to have a Last Jedi effect.
Think so?
Yeah. I'm already seeing it. So when I left the film, I knew I wasn't knocked off my feet.
Okay.
But few films can do that at this point. We've seen everything, right? We know how all these movies go. But I was fine with it. I was like, okay, but I have fun, So I started to look at how other people felt about it to see whether or not they put their finger on what I couldn't at the time. And what I realized is it's incredibly divisive. Some people have called this film God tier.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
While other people have said it's as bad or worse than like stuff like Suicide Squad and Justice League.
How dare they?
And so I also feel like the more people are on one side, the more the other side starts to get up. So I found myself in this very weird position of like, I don't have anger towards it. I'm not mad at it. It didn't trick me. Like some of these movies tricked me. I thought I was getting scenes that I was gonna get. I thought that they faked out on like relationships and stuff, or that they just like yada yada through the third act. Like some of these movies do deceitfully trick you into thinking you're gonna get one thing when you go see it, and then you get something else.
I mean, at least they've done it enough to to make you think so.
And so I didn't feel that way with this film. I felt like it's exactly what it said it was going to be. And that's, bad or good depending on who you are.
I could agree with that.
But in the same sense, I'm not going to over compliment it because some people may not like it. Okay. I'm glad that you liked it as much as you did because you're going to speak for that,
definitely.
that crowd. And that crowd has a voice too. Again, if there was nothing to like about this film, that would have been the first thing I said off the rip, and then this would be the shortest review ever. But I do think that there's definitely things to like about it. Do you see this as the new heading? Do you see this as the new direction for the ship that is DC? Should they continue in this route? Is this an Aquaman specific direction that they should just keep Aquaman in this lane? And
that's funny that you asked that because if they wanted to, they with the story that they told, they sure can. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if they don't, they could include some more characters along the way. So I think it's either up in the air, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're gonna have to make a choice eventually, and I actually think
because we still got some of the friends out there and stuff like that. Flash, Wonder Woman, Soups somewhere. Fingers crossed.
Do you think that this film makes or breaks the line of films that they've created so far?
I think it helps make it because of
helps legitimize it.
Yeah, for real. Because the way they did Superman, the way they did Wonder Woman.
Oh, they did Superman.
Yeah.
But no, like you said, the way they did Wonder Woman.
It's just different in tone, and it's better received that way. Right.
It would have been a hot streak. Had not Justice League come out after.
Right. But I think it's something to take notes over because it works. You know what I mean? I get you kind of want to tell these dark tone stories in a sense, but you can't oversaturate it with depressing plots and stuff like that.
There can definitely be stakes, but not everyone has to be serious about the stakes all the time. I mean, at one point, the world is seemingly on the line in this film, right? And
still Aqua Bro having a good old time
for the most part. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'd like to say for those who still haven't seen it. Like I said, I'll reiterate, because I think that people will be getting incredibly vocal by the time this episode comes out. Right, people will already start getting incredibly vocal about how they feel about it, and I want you guys to know straight from the horse's mouth. That this is a safe space. You're allowed to like this movie. Yeah, this is not one of those movies where I feel like, wow, you have to like really turn your brain off to like get anything good out of it. some people started defending like things in Justice League, and I'm like, you
I
don't
was
even
I was just about to get in there. It won't have a Justice League effect. It won't have a Batman versus Superman effect. You know.
but
you say you like it, and then people will look at you like,
right.
Or you
And
say
some
you
of
don't
those
like it, and
people,
people look at you like,
and to be honest, some of those people are only just trying to fight uphill.
Right.
Like they're trying to, not, they're trying to make sure that these DC films get a fair shake. How do you feel about, this is a little bit of a tangent, but how do you feel about the overarching narrative that people feel that there are those in general more disposition to dislike DC films over Marvel, and that there might even be a sort of conspiracy,
I mean, if they're
a DC Illuminati kind of deal, where Marvel has its fingers in all the pies of reviewers, and so that's why things have been maligned.
I mean,
if there
is and stuff, then I think with the recent release of Aquaman, I think it's starting to like get away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because I've seen reviews that weren't kind, and the first the first comments towards those reviewers are, because it wasn't Marvel.
Right.
Do you feel like that is an actual thing that people
put it this way, the DC constellation is starting to get a little brighter with the stars. You know what I mean? I think Aquaman is the latest one, and hopefully Shazam will also be another one too.
I actually think that Shazam is going to be the thing to me personally that makes or breaks this, because I feel like a lot of the heavy lifting for Aquaman was done in other films we knew who we were getting.
Right. I mean, it was a foot. It was a foot in the door, so to speak. So when you come into Aquaman, you're kind of already ready in a sense.
And that's not like a DC criticism. That's what happened with Black Panther. Mm-hmm. Black Panther got his foot in the door in Civil War, so that you could do the rest of the storytelling in his film. So I'm absolutely fine with that. But I feel like Shazam is going to be the like, all right, guys, y'all know next to nothing. Y'all thought y'all knew nothing about Aquaman. Y'all don't know next to nothing about Shazam. We about to tell y'all from the beginning and see how y'all deal with it. I actually am now really, really looking at Shazam and seeing how those steps are going to be made. Because
I hope if they do a tie-in, which most likely probably there will be. I hope they just do it nicely. That's all I want. At this point, I take Soups to tie it in, which they originally rumored to do. I'll take Soups either to do it or Wonder Woman to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be cool.
Also, there's only one post-credit scene, so do not stay past anything else, because we did, and we were hella bored for that.
Yep.
Let me see. I think we can wrap this at least the spoiler free portion of this up. What do you think of the like action scenes and stuff without getting into specifics?
I think the cuts were pretty creative. Not creative, but it's something that I haven't seen in a while. Yeah. So I was glad for that too. So that had me like, oh, word.
The biggest thing I think people are going to be curious about are the special effects.
Yeah.
A lot of this takes place on the water. A lot of this takes place where sea creatures are abound. They found some creative ways to light a lot of these places, and they found some creative ways to make them distinct from each other.
I thought all the underwater stuff was pretty cool. I wasn't too much sold on it before going to go see it. Besides like the trailers, and then going to Atlantis during Justice League.
Okay.
But when I came into Aquaman, I was like, yeah, they freaking did it with that.
Yeah, we got in just in time too. Like the beginning of that film was just coming in as we sat down to watch it. So it was definitely an adventure, because as soon as we got sitting down, the storm from the trailer opens up and we get our film. But as far as spoiler-free reviews are concerned, that is where the rest of you get off.
Yep, jump on land.
If you want to swim through the spoilers with us, you are more than welcome. And if you've already seen the film, because you're as special / as qualified as an Amazon Prime member as I am to go see it, then you've already seen it and probably already have your own thoughts on it. But spoiler filled. Let me tell you a little bit of what I liked about this film before we get into scene by scene, because I would like to break down this movie scene by scene just to kind of go over what the plot was. But when I think of things that I liked about this film, I first thing I think of is those action sequences. We saw a little bit of what happens in the desert with Mira, where she's chased down by those Atlantean guards. Mm-hmm. We saw that, I think, on YouTube. It was like one of those long clips on YouTube.
It was in the long clip on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, it was one of those long clips on
5 minute,
YouTube.
5 minute trailer, so to speak.
Yeah. But this idea that you could have an action scene that has two separate mini action scenes in it,
Yeah.
and you can like
You can just
pan
go
into
to
one,
one. Yeah.
pan out and then go to the other one. I thought that was really, really cool. And the fact that Arthur is like a brute from the beginning to the end. Like
Yeah.
there's not like a lot of flash and a lot of like technique and like, oh wow, that was cool. That took a lot of, like gymnastics and none of that stuff. He's a brute. He's like a blunt edge object. He's a bat in this film. He's a baseball bat and he's just swinging for the fences. So I do like that. I like that the film wasn't afraid to be silly sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
At one point they are inside the mouth of a whale and they're just kind of like hanging out. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. That was very Aquaman.
There's a lot of like when he turns and he looks and he says, because it was cheesy, but I also felt like it was cheesy on purpose when he does the whole permission to come aboard.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, he was saying in the beginning of that movie, like so much of this movie is like 80s action movie. Like I'm just the cool protagonist. There's gonna be some explosions. I'm gonna get the girl. You understand? I got things I gotta do. Like there is a plot, but understand that I came in cool. I'm leaving cool, and this is what this is gonna be. And a lot of those movies, I had like a long frame of thought the other day. It's like movies don't all have to be absolute masterpieces. They all have to serve like different masters. But I think they all should have something to say. And this film, at various points, has things to say about nature versus nurture, about about the oceans, about animal life, about royalty, lineage, blood, family, all that kind of stuff. And I liked it for that. I definitely like those things. I agree with how you feel about Amber Heard. I don't know if I dig them together 100%. It's just I didn't get the.
We got that like halfway out the film, in a sense.
Right.
I mean, the only reason why you know that's because in the comics they're together.
Right, and I also feel like the movie. There's a lot of movie in this movie. There's like a lot of plot, a lot of mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like they would do the movie, and then somebody would go, "Oh, wait, but they're gonna get together in the future," and so then they would do a shot of him looking at her.
Right,
or her looking at him,
yeah.
and then they go right back into the movie, and then they'll go back to like a really little romantic beat. Like wasn't even 100% sure she was gonna kiss him, because they were all they still had a mission. Like they weren't really how'd you grow up and how'd you grow up? And
because in the beginning of the movie, she's with Orm.
Yes, she is, which doesn't happen in the
it doesn't
in the comics.
No.
I found that a little curious. Another thing about the comics that made me raise an eyebrow is that Orm in the comics is a brunette because Arthur Curry in the comics is a blonde.
He's a blonde.
But because I
guess
he's
a dirty blonde in this one.
But because I guess he's on the darker side, they made Orm blonde.
Right.
Which also talks to the more Thor Loki-ness of it all.
Right.
Right? Thor's blonde, Loki's got dark hair.
I mean, Loki doesn't have a man bun.
No, he doesn't. But did Orm have a man bun in this?
Orm had a slight man bun.
I feel like Volko definitely had a man bun.
Oh yeah, Volko definitely
had like a little or some kind of weird fishtail ponytail thing sticking out the back. But I was very confused with Orm's hair. There was times where he would be talking and I'm only looking at his hair.
You just see it float, like moving
because
on the water and stuff.
It looks like it's long enough and just it's swept back and tied in the back. But it's not.
No, it definitely is. But Orm's is like there, like clipped onto the back of his head.
Right,
so
right. Like, but it's also short. Yeah, it just looks short. Combed back because of the water.
He doesn't have enough hair.
Exactly.
It's like he cut it last year and then he decided to grow it again.
Yeah. But anyway, chemistry aside, I think that they did a good job showing that they're both equally badass. And they can both handle their own. I'm a little bit, on the fence about whether or not they should have explained Mira's powers. Because I feel like to the outside person, you'd be like, how come she can do that and no one else could do that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I wonder if that reached anybody else's mind. Like, who is she? Why can she do this? Why is everybody okay with the fact that she can do this? And no one else trying this or going about it, whatever. Aquakinesis is hard to portray. The ability to have control over water.
I was thinking that going in, but
Yeah.
I really, really like the
I really liked it too, and I also liked the idea that a lot of this is taken straight from Jeff Johns' 2011 run with Aquaman, the first run of Aquaman in the New 52.
Mm-hmm.
When Jeff Johns was a man on a mission. He was basically, trying to do his best to not resurrect, this character's always been there, but no more fish jokes is the directive, We're getting this guy serious, we're gonna get people on board with this character, and we're starting this from scratch. So one of the first things that they did with Mira was somebody. First of all, they called her like Aqua Woman. There's a lot of that in New 52 where people are wrongfully calling her Aqua Woman, and she's getting upset. She's like, "That's not my name. My name is Mira." Yada yada. But at one point, surface dweller. I like calling them that. A surface dweller gets on her case about something, and she just removes the water from his body, and she's just like
dries him up,
and she's just like, you see that, you feel that, like your muscles aching, all that stuff. That's I can do that. And there's several points where you're shown how dangerous she is, with just a drop of water, or at one point she uses wine,
that was crazy,
to stab, to make hard. And that's another thing. With her, she can make hard water constructs. So it's this idea that water is malleable for the most part, but she can make it as hard as concrete, and then crack you over the head with a water, with a water slap, or something like that, or like you were just saying, stab you with it, like how she did with the wine. How'd you feel about Mira's I guess more solo scenes?
That was her. My favorite part was when she took all the wine, dude, because they were in Italy. Yeah, and she took all the red wine from the bottles, cracked all the bottles, and just used them as spikes. Dude, that was freaking bad.
And there was also a sense of desperation because there was no water around her, so she couldn't really. She felt powerless, and in that moment, she felt the water in those bottles.
Yeah, in those bottles.
She's like, "Oh no, it's a wrap."
Man, it was a wrap, man. And I like that part because they kind of made it look a little eerie. Yeah. So the only blue was in her eyes when she was, I guess, focused enough to take the wine out of the bottles and just shoot it at the Aqua Patrol.
As they had the Atlantean guard. I like the heart that they were able to put in here. I feel like there's various moments that if I was not a stronger man, I probably would have teared up.
I'm a sucker when it comes to heart in these comic book movies, so I'm glad that they were able to make me feel it.
One of the first scenes that surprised me with how it made me feel is Atlanta saying goodbye to the baby and the father. Like, she legit looked distraught. The kid legit was crying. And the father looked like, I don't know what to tell you to do, but if you think that this is what you gotta do, then I love you. But in the same sense, like, don't go. But in the same sense, like, what's going on? How am I supposed to raise this half-fish baby?
And she had told him, like, I'll be back when it's safe. Here.
And how do you know
at sunset? And I already knew. Oh man, she about to have this man come every day.
yeah. So to bookend that, another heartfelt moment was that return.
That was ill.
But even before the return, actually, what got me more before Atlanta returns to the dock and meets up with Thomas Curry, what really got me was Aquaman telling that story to his mother. Saying like he still
waits for you. He still comes.
I was like, oh man, because I really like the character of Thomas Curry in this film. He really was down to earth, drinking with his boy. Yeah, all that stuff. Like as somebody who takes deep dives into the looks and the psychology of parental figures of these comic book movies, Thomas Curry was everything that John Kent should have been. He was encouraging. He was helpful. He was funny. He was like telling dad jokes and stuff like that. He was 100% a dad in this. And
we all know you and the Kent, Papa Kent.
Yeah, you understand?
Our best friends.
So the idea that this man who I now like, right? Like I have an affinity for him. I like him as a person. Right. He's kind. He's nice and all that stuff. He still, without telling anybody, without making a big deal out of it, still wakes up every morning at sunrise to meet somebody at the docks that won't show up seemingly until she actually does, and that broke my heart. Very similar to the talk of well, you're you and I'm me talk from Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I like the talks between Orm and Arthur, or Orin as he's called in the comics. So Arthur and Orm, the first talk that I like is when he says, like, bro, like, I've been waiting my whole life to meet you. Like,
right.
you're my little brother. I want to let you know that you weren't alone in the world and stuff. And he's like, but now you kind of a dick and messed it up, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Orm is like, ever since I was alive, I knew my mother died because you were born.
Yeah, I hated you.
And I hated you for, like, that's all real
that
stuff.
Is, yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, like, they really going there with that. But then the idea that Orm's entire world falls apart when Mom shows up alive, you know, and you know, Big Brother is the king of Atlantis, and everything's gone wrong. Mira's with the wrong guy.
Yep.
You know, the war's over. He's controlling big crustaceans and all this other kind of stuff. And then as he walks away, Arthur goes, "Let me know when you're ready to talk."
You're ready to talk, yeah.
And I thought again, that was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool because you don't get that a lot.
No,
or if anything at all.
Oh yeah, I will find him. You're not talking to that guy. You know, so the idea that you can still reconcile, that there's still something to find. You know, I really liked.
Balls in your court, Orm.
I liked Atlantis, the lights, the colors, textures,
that
all
was
the
ill.
weird character designs. For the weird fish people.
Granted, it was it's still a kingdom, but very. That's why also one of the reasons why, besides it being underwater, it was still very different from Wakanda.
Yeah, I have an asterisk on, like, all that, but I'll get to all that in a second. I liked Manta in this. I have a soft spot for Black Manta.
Right,
I've written
I like
articles
Manta
about.
I've
written articles about Black Manta. The more I study the character, the more interesting the whole lore around him becomes. And we got to see his suit at Comic-Con. Remember that?
Yeah,
and it was like,
man,
wow,
I
this
have
thing
a
is
picture of that.
This thing is awesome. This thing looks amazing. And I really like that they were able to capture that in live action in the same way that Mira's outfit is from the comics. Orm's outfit is from the comics. You know, Arthur gets in a more comic inspired outfit. How do you feel about Arthur's armor in this versus his armor in Justice League? Because his armor in Justice League was a bit more like black and gold with like accents and stuff like that. This was the straight up Aquaman, orange and green.
Straight up OG color scheme. Yeah.
How do you feel about how those things are different?
Aquaman's always been one of my guys. So seeing that was didn't take much for me to pop, but I really like his gloves. His gloves are stupid because like, you know how Batman has the
You're talking about the gauntlets, right?
The
green
gauntlets. Yeah, the green gauntlets. Oh man, so ill. But the thing with Aquaman, I feel like for the one for
Justice League,
I feel like that was more like towards his, like, to match his tattoos and stuff like that. I guess I want to say
it feels like they wanted to be accurate, but they still felt like the orange was too much, and so they were like, we'll put orange in it, you know, we'll put green in it, but I really think that and
more so to match the tone of the movie in a sense, anyways.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also very true. Yeah. Oh, you know, you were saying Ocean Master's mask.
Yeah, Ocean Master's mask.
Which when I found out that Ocean Master was in this film, when I found out that Black Manta was in this film, those two mask headpieces, whatever the heck you want to call them, those were the ones I was looking out for the most, because Ocean Master is defined by those red eyes and those fins sticking out the side of his face, and the same thing with Manta, those big red glowing eyes in the depths of the ocean, you know, and that armor, like all the swords and the guns and the jetpacks, and the fact that he made it himself makes you even more like, okay, this guy's, you know,
in the lab.
Yeah, definitely, he's in the lab. I really liked Manta in this, and I liked all the character designs and how they stuck to the comics. My favorite part of this, I sat and I thought on it.
Okay.
And I have my favorite part, and it is there's not even a like second after I figured out what it was. After I thought back, I think the best filmed scene and the best film sequence of this film is when Aquaman and Mira go to the trench.
Oh yeah, dude.
James Wan is a horror director,
Mm-hmm.
and he had my girlfriend shook because
Right.
because
That trench stuff was That trench
you
stuff was
you start
serious,
off with
dude.
like one of these guys, right? One of these like de-evolved Atlanteans, like just standing on the boat, and then one of them is like on
top of the joint, the post,
sail, yeah,
the sail,
and then they just start by the time they get into the ocean, these piranhas, they're swarming. All this stuff with the flares in the ocean.
I would have thought that would have
Oh,
happened to I would have thought that would happened to anybody that would have just like went too far in that area.
Yeah,
they just probably just vanished, disappeared, or got eaten.
And the trench is a big part of that New 52 story. They let you know that this is like the forgotten Atlanteans, and that they don't really even talk. You can't do the whole
right
because they're like mindless. And I think eventually with the trident, he's able to command them at the end.
Yeah.
But
are they afraid of light in the comics as well?
I think so. I don't know if I'm afraid. I just think they
dislike the light.
They dislike it because they literally live. They don't have eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about them, because they live so into the depths. They don't have eyes. So I don't know if the light will actually affect them.
That
but
shot
I do know
with them diving into the water that you get in the trailer,
is
money. So when they go
my
into
God,
the water
so
and they start, and you see all of them in the trench. Oh my God, man! But they steer clear from them because of the flare that they have.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool too. I mean, granted, they were steering clear of the flare and stuff.
Yeah.
But being able to see all of them and with the flare inside of the trench as they go in, and oh, dude,
they were a swarm. They were like bees.
Very, very eerie too. So that was ill.
That was my favorite part. They swarmed, and this is their comic book look, and that's basically
pretty,
accurate.
That is pretty accurate.
They were quite the troublesome group for Aquaman in the comics. So I'm really, really glad that they brought him into this. And
sir, he commands the trench. That's
exactly. Well, that's everyone was like,
that's not possible.
If he got the zombies, we out. Yeah. So those are my likes. Now we'll get a little bit into my dislikes, and there's not as much as likes, but they're still important.
Right.
I did not like that, and I only knew this again because of my girlfriend sitting next to me.
Right.
I did not like that they felt the best way to go from scene to scene was just having an explosion happen in the background.
I kind of didn't notice that.
There's several moments, and I only know it's because so there's several moments where somebody's telling somebody something, and they're all cool, and then something will blow up in the background, and all of a sudden we're in a fight. It's a brand new thing. This happened when Atlantis talking to Arthur, telling her the story of the trident. Boom, blows up. It happens with Arthur and Mira when they get in Sicily, and when they get caught up in there.
And that now that you say that also happens when they go talk to Volko.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I see what
I'm
you're
saying, like, now.
I mean, granted, it's probably their transition move. You know what I mean?
Well, I've heard people say, I've heard people compare them to jump scares.
Okay.
And so, considering that this is a horror director, maybe this is his transition thing, or whatever. Maybe that's what keeps the pace up. But I kept she would like jump because there would be these loud explosions in the middle of regular conversations, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess they just did that again and again. And, oh wow, like you guys really just start ducking, like have a conversation and just start ducking because something's about to blow up in the era. But yeah, once you get past that, I'm fine with it. I made this joke in the theater, and I still feel like it's true. I wasn't a big fan of Orm's decor. I felt like a lot of where Ocean Master resided looked like the Apple Store, or it looked like that place by the World Trade Center Museum that they just built, the Oculus.
Oh, okay.
The Oculus, and I was just like, it looks like the Oculus, like the best. Like we already did that. We already built that.
All white and bright.
All white and just these like pillars and stuff like that. But again, majority of Atlantis doesn't look that way. I actually really like that highway that they showed where you have to go through the A to get to the other side, and everyone's on the highway. I thought that was really
all
cool.
The security.
Yeah. I just have in big letters here, Pitbull.
Please explain that.
Why?
Please explain. Go ahead.
Okay. decades ago, a band called Toto recorded a song called Africa. And it was famous. It sold records, and
It's a great song.
great song. Fast forward to 2018, and for some strange reason, due to both the curious nature of the lyrics and the the curious nature of the lyrics and an entire generation seemingly not understanding why this song exists at all, this song became meme worthy, and people started talking about the rains down in Africa and blessing the rains in Africa. It became so meme worthy and became such a part of internet culture, the song, that Weezer did their own cover of the song, bringing it back into rotation, and thus that's how a joke is born, it lives, and it dies. But Pitbull is the Undertaker that rose this dead horse from the ground and beat it some more for no reason. Because for some reason in this film, for 30 seconds, there's a clip of Pitbull's Ocean to Ocean song, which is done to the Africa, basically, tune. And it's just another Pitbull, Dale, Worldwide, one of those songs. And it is terrible. So much so that I decided to go to YouTube to find out if I was the only one who thought this. I thought I was being the crotchety old man of these songs ain't what I used to think they were or whatever.
Right.
The thing is, he did Time of My Life, didn't he? Or that was Black Eyed Peas who covered Time of My Life. Our hands and time of
Yeah.
Stop messing up these. Just leave them. Just leave them. You can literally say whatever and people buy your music anyway. Why are you taking old songs and inside jokes? I felt like that Total thing was inside internet meme worthy joke.
They could have done without it.
And you took it. You could have made an original song for this. And I still wouldn't have liked it, but I'm saying I already don't like your music, but you're going to take something good and then also mess it up. Oh my God, that Pitbull thing took a whole star off this movie for me. I'm sorry, Momoa, but you got to go talk to Pitbull about that. I didn't hate, but I think that they could have done more with Ocean Master. I wanted him a little bit more ravenous for war, a little bit more foaming at the mouth, these people, and this is my destiny.
You know what I think you would have been happy with? I think if he had killed Volko.
Yes,
right there on
definitely, or killed Arthur's dad. I know that's more of a Black Manta thing, and we'll get to that in a bit. But there was sparks. There's moments of it,
right?
And I'm like, oh, this guy is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I get it. He's not just bad because he's bad, but he's kind of crazy. But they made it more that he was misunderstood.
Yeah.
Which they do a lot for these characters so that they can bring them back. But
or too war poised in a sense, or just
right. Or with the idea that he thought that his mother was killed because of her sleeping with a human, and Arthur is a result of that. So he had anger. He was lied to. Potentially, or I guess the truth was kept from him that his mother was alive, and who knows what kind of life he would have led to that point. But he honestly did feel like people were that surface dwellers were attacking and poisoning the oceans. And Patrick Wilson himself, the guy who plays Ocean Master, said that he saw Ocean Master as a eco-terrorist. So think of terrorism acts from the ocean,
right?
Trying to teach a lesson to, you're ready for another lesson to the surface. I thought the might of that wave in the beginning, more of that, I'm there.
Right,
more of oh, we don't care. Y'all don't care about us. We don't even give a damn about y'all. and because the ocean is 90% of this damn planet, you're gonna deal with it.
I feel like if he'd have sunk a city, I think that'd have satisfied you.
Yeah. He got a shore wet. Which that's cool too. And they glossed over what was probably the most sadistic part of his whole plan was the fact that he sent Manta and his family to go get that sub to then shoot Atlantis so he could be you see? They're trying to shoot us. That's the most conniving part of this film, and I feel like they just kind of went past it. And it's whoa, wait. He set that up?
Because not enough. I don't think they ever said or touch. Well, I think they did.
When the hologram shows up to talk to thing, he's he pays him. That's
the water hologram. I thought that was cool.
But maybe you needed somebody to. I know is a lot of times this show not tell. Maybe you needed somebody to openly say you would do that to just to spark whatever. And, yeah, of course I will. You know how much I've sacrificed. No, that's another character. I also don't understand why didn't he care about the trident?
Because he didn't think. I don't think he thought
Like,
it was real.
so why they keep lying to my man Orm? You understand what I'm saying? Like my man.
Only because Volko only knew. I guess presumably he was probably the only one that knew.
I did like
was
seeing
out there.
I did like seeing Volko roll out wet paper to show him the picture of. You have to get this. They drew a fork.
But then if that was the case, if he didn't, well, I got the idea that he, well, never
you
mind.
Understand what I'm saying? Like I can't remember.
Scratch that because I could remember too because Arthur did go back to Atlantis during Justice League.
Yeah.
So but there was you didn't get to see Orm. I don't think we saw Orm, not even in the background.
And did he go back to Atlantis? Because when he gets
maybe it was
when he goes to Atlantis, he's like, "Oh wow!" And he goes like, "What's this road? I thought you went to Atlantis."
Uh-huh.
So maybe he just went to like the outside skirts of where it was at to talk to Mira, try to get that armor and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I didn't understand. If this is even if it's fake, if this is the one thing that if somebody else touches it,
mm-hmm.
they automatically become king over you. Like I would do a little bit of research, bruh. But I get it. He was trying to unite the cities, the leftover cities, and become the Ocean Master that way.
Mm-hmm.
I liked every time they mentioned that because I'm a comic book fan.
Right.
So every time they were like, you would be the Ocean Master or whatever. And he was like, call me the Ocean Master. Every time they did that, I was all like, Ocean Master. Because on the face of it,
they did it twice. They did it with him and they did it with Black Manta.
Yeah. Call me Black Manta. Really, really dug that. I didn't really dig all that much Homeboy as Volko.
Yeah.
He could have been there or he could have not been there.
I mean, I like the training montage, the little training montage they did with him.
I almost wonder, and maybe that's too Spider-Man-y. Maybe he should have been Ocean Master. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
He does a hell of a job. I mean, it's not like, oh, he phoned it in and he was terrible. Like, Willem Dafoe is great. I just don't know if you needed Willem Dafoe for this. Like, it literally could have been anybody.
Once you in the comic book game, for life.
You in it for life. For life. But, like, you see him a little bit in flashbacks, and I didn't really feel... A lot of this is based on the comic... it's coming to me. Throne of Atlantis.
Okay.
It's not only a comic, but it's an animated movie that they made, Justice League Throne of Atlantis. And in the comic, Orm has the Trident. And he has the Trident, and so Aquaman has to get the Trident from him. Because he's trying to drown, I think, Gotham, Metropolis, all those other places. And it turns out that the person who got him the Trident, or the person who did the false flag on Atlantis, one of those two was Volko, hoping that Aquaman will answer the call. So with that turn in my head, here he just kind of felt like Alfred, you know?
Okay.
Where that act of desperation, like, I will kill my own people, I will give Orm the weapon of mass destruction, so you can see that you're supposed to be the king of Atlantis. Where here he's like, yeah, Orm don't know.
He crazy, so I'm gonna help y'all.
He's like, yeah, no, yo, by the way,
he crazy.
He crazy. But it's also the idea, like, and he doesn't even know.
Right.
And he doesn't even know. And then Orm's like, I know. He's like,
I always know.
What? Like, he was like, what? So it's like, I felt like they could have done good with that. Not all the jokes landed for me.
Okay.
But I applaud their ability to tell as many as they felt they could.
Okay.
You understand?
I agree with that too.
It's the machine gun effect.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these bullets are gonna land, but you don't get those bullets landing unless you shoot. You understand? Unless you expend your whole case. So there's that. I guess you would say this is the biggest problem. I think I would say I have. At one point in the film, I actually felt like I was mentally checking boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, he's going to go do this, and then he's going to come back. But the worst part about it is I felt like too much of the third act and what's important in the third act, we saw in the trailer. So...
okay.
And more this. Our theater clapped at various points when we saw this film on Saturday,
Mhm.
but it clapped at a very important moment that I feel like was kind of wasted in the trailer. And it's the idea that Atlanta tells Aquaman, like, you have to go in there, but they'll probably kill you because no one else has been able to go in there and get it. So go in there and try, but it'll most likely kill you. Odds are you're going to die. Right. You're not going to make it. You're not even, like, trained for this. So you're probably going to die.
I was going to go there too, but I had a feeling you was going to mention that too.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're here now.
So he stands at the waterfall and he looks back and he gives like a little look of like, I'm just going to try to do this.
Yep.
But instantly we remember that this is the waterfall he walked out of, fully dressed in the Aquaman attire and with the trident. The one thing we're supposed to be wondering if he ever gets. So it was just like, once he got there and walked back out of the ocean, it was like, oh, so this is just the ending of this.
I wanted more of the sea beast.
Yes.
That was in there.
Yeah. How'd you feel about it being voiced by the original Mary Poppins?
Wow.
Yeah, Julie Andrews. But besides that, like, how you feel about the whole female voice of it and like what it had to say?
I mean, I was fine. I was fine with it. I just wanted a little more oomph with it.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just a slithering, hissing voice.
Yes.
In a sense.
I wanted to see
it. Yeah, I wanted to see it.
Stop
too,
showing me your tentacles.
Like,
just show me your face.
And I'm trying to see the face, and it's just like a huge bulge.
Show me your damn face.
I mean?
Yeah.
So when he grabs the trident, I mean, at least when he when she had told him, you can speak to me, you can hear me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought she was just gonna reveal herself there.
Yeah.
Because I was dying to see at that point. So I thought we were gonna also see it again when he grabbed the trident.
Yeah.
When you saw everything click and you saw it all through the whole ocean and
yeah.
He was
and I always loved those. Like, I liked whenever his eyes changed and
ill.
stuff, and whenever he's commanding those fish, I thought.
But we didn't see it. All we got was the tentacles.
Yes.
You know.
Eventually when he's literally riding it into battle.
So that's what I was just about to ask. Yeah. That's what that was.
Yeah. Like a big crustacean monster thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. My last criticism is I felt like there was both too much mythology and not enough mythology. I felt like they try to give us everything about Atlantis from the jump. You need all 7 kingdoms. And by the way, the kingdom was started by this king, and this king used this trident. The trident was given to him by Poseidon. Poseidon did it over in this section of land. You have to go to this section of land. And that section exists because that section differentiated from the other sections, just like the trench, also different. You understand? There was a lot of that. And I feel like Aquaman has enough. It's good that they know that Aquaman has a lot of story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I would have hoped that they divided it, cut it up, and did little. Like, you could kind of omitted the trench from this, and the trench could have been a whole nother thing. But what's funny with that criticism that I have is the criticism that I've heard from people is that they wasted Black Manta. Where my logic comes back in and says, no, they gave you what you thought was going to be Black Manta.
And then they saved him.
And what you're about to see now is a man possessed. You're about to see a blood feud go down. And
he got his behind handed to him eventually.
Yeah.
And then he lost his father to the same.
He got behind him to twice. By the same person. Twice when he thought that he had every weapon.
He's about to be on a mission.
He thought he had every weapon at his disposal twice, and he lost to Curry. So when he comes, he's gonna be coming correct.
For blood.
Let's go over some other criticisms other people had of this film that I saw a lot. A lot of people said that it was too long.
What?
I thought it was fine.
I thought it was fine, yeah.
I thought it was fine.
It cracked under 2 hours?
No. It was like 2 and change.
2 and some change, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel like that, to be honest.
Yeah, it was about 2 and
mainly probably
change.
because I seen the 5-minute trailer like 40 times.
Yeah.
Because
I kind of sort of
my bro, so
I kind of sort of wish that, like, I mean, you could take out like some of that like sailing stuff, right? Where him and Mira are just like sailing in a boat. You could take that out. I think you could take his whole mother out.
Yeah.
And I think you could do that in the next movie.
Nah, you gotta kind of establish everybody, at least a little bit. And
the thing is,
or at least
in preparation of
just
this
sprinkle.
Once Justice League came out, I decided that I had to do my due diligence and read Aquaman because I had never read Aquaman. Didn't want to give the guy a chance.
Okay.
So I read the Jeff Johns run, all 52 issues of it,
Mhm.
plus tie-ins and all the other kind of stuff. Really, really liked it. A lot of what was in those stories, like Atlanta, that whole reveal of Atlanta doesn't happen to like 5 volumes in. You understand? Because the first volume is him and Orm. The second volume is like him dealing with the trench. The third volume, you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And they kind of just
compressed
it all. And I'm glad that it all was there.
Okay.
Because then it shows me that they did the research. And this guy does have cool things in his history
you just wish
to pull from.
They stretched it.
I wish they had enough faith to be like, you thought you saw? Wait till we get into the rest of this. Wait till you find out his mother's alive. Wait till you find out, that there's zombies in the ocean or whatever like that. So I definitely felt. But again, I also feel like with Aquaman, they weren't trying to take chances.
So they gave it
all the cool things that they could think of that is in his lore. I think they put up front, and I don't blame them for that. Maybe the next one is when we get the hook hand, and and then we start dealing with all that kind of stuff because we'll start getting all the rest of it. I think soon. It's already kicking butt in China.
Yeah, major butt.
And its growth so far has allowed the DCEU to I think pass 4 billion. It's either 4 or 6.
Go ahead, Aqua bro.
But it's helping out the team. You understand?
Right. Definitely.
It's
helping out the team.
It's got Superman and Batman's arms around him, and he's standing up, and he's helping these guys limp across the finish line.
I got you guys. Don't worry.
And I don't want to, not to make too much of comparisons, but you also got to remember that Infinity War made $2 million. Infinity War, the one movie, made $2 billion, and so. Yeah, this has made, I think it just crossed 4 with the 6 movies.
Interesting.
But, again, we're hoping that these people learn from their mistakes. We're hoping that these people take forward steps. I think this is what this is.
And I'm really, really liking that. They're making up for their, I don't want to say their wasted efforts, for their bad tries, I want to say, in a sense. One of the really, really good things that I really like about Jason Momoa's Aquaman is that they took a chance with it, because correct me if I'm wrong, in the comics he's more political and a little more way more serious.
He's definitely not Momoa in this,
right?
And parts of the film with Momoa, like. I didn't really buy his vulnerability sometimes. Like when he wanted you to feel sorry for him, because I'm like, bro, you're...
Because you see him
you look like a...
yeah.
You look like a Viking. Like, what are you doing? Like, he wants to... At one point, he's like, I don't think I could do it. And I'm like, you, Jason Momoa, of course you could do it. Try.
You just got stabbed in the beginning of the movie by Mantle, and the blade ain't even bend or anything. It just stopped right at your chest.
So when those moments happened, they made me think, damn, Momoa would have been an awesome Lobo. Like, you could have just juiced that to 110%, and had when
you better stop. That might
yeah, right.
They might double dip.
They're gonna pull a Ryan Reynolds to have him play 2 people in the same movie.
Double dip.
But yeah, he does it. That I put it here. Things I like that, but I guess I didn't speak on it too much. But the idea that when he goes to the big ass beast,
right,
and he's talking to it, that it's like, are you kidding me? Look at all the bones of the worthy people that tried before you, whatever. You are not worthy. And he's like, I know I'm not. I'm not trying to be. I'm nobody.
Yeah.
I ain't got like that. And he's like, but I'm still gonna do this for me and my family.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like it, screw you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right.
I really like that part too.
I get it. I get it.
His superhero speech was kind of awesome.
That was kind of awesome, and they also do a hell of a superhero shot at the end of the film where he's like, "I'm the man of 2 places."
Right.
I am Aquaman. He jumps up out of the water with the trident.
Trident, yeah.
Pretty cool hero shot. Pretty good. You think they ever get the balls to cut his hair?
Wow, that is crazy. I was just thinking about that because I was just thinking about how that shot would look if he had his hair cut. If he didn't have his long hair. I don't know, man. They might.
You know how I've been thinking about as a short-haired Aquaman? Paul Walker. Paul Walker, I think, could have made a good short-haired Aquaman. A good blonde Aquaman.
I don't know, but you have to beef up, dude.
Yeah, you would have to beef up. I mean, Vin Diesel, get him right. Make him Ocean Master, just tie everything else in. Yeah, that's my long and short of it. As far as what I liked and what I disliked, I will glance over what the plot of this film is, and you just stop me when you feel like you've remembered something.
Okay. Uh-oh.
So the film starts off with my man Thomas Curry, a lighthouse keeper, who rescues an injured Atlanta, played by Nicole Kidman.
Man of two worlds.
They use both the aging effects on both of them, but they both look fine.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman looks fine, and Nicole Kidman is also coming back into the DC EU because she played Dr. Chase Meridian in Batman Forever. And, other note, she turned down playing Hippolyta.
What?
Yeah, Nicole Kidman turned down playing Hippolyta to, I guess, play Queen Atlanta. But he brings her in, he nurses her back to help, and they fall in love. And then they have a son, Arthur Curry, who is named after a hurricane. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's kind of, I'm with it. And they raised this child. Mm-hmm. Atlanta's not supposed to be on land with a human, but she doesn't give a damn.
She has ran away.
She ran away
from an arranged marriage.
That's a good question. Did they say she ran away?
Yeah, they did.
I missed that then.
They did.
I thought it was by accident. I thought that she just got like washed up on shore. I must have been doing something ridiculous.
Orm touched on it a little bit too. They said she had ran away to escape an arranged marriage, and they came and they captured her. I know when they show up. Yeah, they say she went back, and Orm had said that she had came back, but before she got sentenced, she was she had a child, which was Orm, and then they sacrificed her.
Oh, that's kind of shitty.
To the trench, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's hanging out with Arthur, teaching him all kinds of Atlantean myths and legends, but all of a sudden, boom, Atlantean guards show up and capture her because she is fraternizing with a surface dweller. Mm-hmm. And so,
which is frowned upon.
Yes, but she sort of kind of fends them off by herself.
Yeah, that was ill.
My weapon! That trident throw?
Dude.
That was the one through the helmet, right?
I think it went... I don't want to say it went through the helmet.
But it definitely went through the guy.
It definitely went through the guy, yeah. That was ill.
All the times that they busted those helmets and water just started coming, and like no blood, but it just water started pouring out.
First of all, the what I want to say, the trident karate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was...
The trident fu?
The trident fu was amazing.
Really, really good.
Yeah, really good.
And it also helped that they were doing those sweeping shots where they were circling them and she was attacking all of them and stuff like that. I'm really glad. Yeah, because, Nicole Kidman is a beautiful woman. And so to see her get nitty gritty with some of these people, especially when they caught her off guard, was really, really cool. And to see that she can hold her own was really, really cool. But, although she fends them off effectively, she eventually decides to return to Atlantis because she feels like they're never going to stop hunting Arthur and her.
Yeah, so she jumps in front of that bullet and just goes.
But for her crimes, which, like you said, her treason and her leaving to go to Earth, and she was the queen, the married queen to a king that she did not want to be with. So for all those crimes, she was sentenced and thrown into what is known as the Trench, a section of the sea swamping with devolved and cannibalistic Atlanteans. So Arthur grows up under the guidance of his human father, and Vulko, a counselor to the throne of Atlantis, who becomes Curry's longtime mentor and friend. It is discovered during a trip to the aquarium that Arthur has the ability to speak to creatures of the sea. How'd you like that whole, Arthur like to talk to fish?
Arthur's talking to the fish. I better shut the hell up. That running joke for years. That joke's about to be no more after this.
I did like seeing them all line up, all the animals.
Yeah.
Slowly come and line up.
Like right behind Arthur, behind the glass. That was ill.
And I also I think they did a good job with the child actors. Feel like every child actor looked like... Right. Like the baby looked like the small child who looked like the teenager who looked like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, the transition was money.
I thought they all looked... I think they did a good job casting for that. We fast forward to present day, but not just present day. 1 year after Justice League. And Atlantis' younger son and Arthur's half brother Orm, played by Patrick Wilson, he now rules Atlantis. And what is Aquaman doing? What's my boy Arthur Curry doing? He's being called Aquaman by the media because he's been helping people. And in particular, this movie opens up with him taking on a bunch of mercenaries that are trying to hijack a nuclear sub. More specifically, a father and son duo of pirates, David and Jesse Kane. During the altercation, David's father Jesse is killed, and David swears revenge. David being Black Manta, and Black Manta's father being Jesse, they were never given last names in the comics. They were barely even given first names. I think they just got their first name maybe like a couple decades ago.
Wow.
But the way it happens in the comics is that Arthur I think Black Manta's father goes to go and get blood from Arthur to prove that there's Atlantean, blood in Atlantis exists. Yeah. And when he gets there, he sees Arthur's father, and they struggle, and Arthur's father has a heart attack, and he dies. So then Aquaman follows the guy, or eventually finds that he's on a ship, and kills him. I think Manta kills Aquaman's father, but Aquaman kills Manta's father by mistake, thinking that that's the guy who killed his father. But ultimately, they kill each other's pops.
Right.
And that's what brings apart a lot of this hatred and stuff like that. So I mean, we still got an alive Tom Curry. Want to see how that? Oh no!
Oh no! We just
No, one day.
Yep.
It's gonna be my man Aquaman is gonna be fighting Batman. You understand?
You went somewhere else.
No, that's where I went. My man Aquaman's gonna be fighting Batman, and Batman's gonna have this man pinned down. He's gonna be ready to kill him, and he's gonna say, "But wait, you have to save Thomas." And he's gonna go, "What? Why did you say that name? Who do you know named Thomas? It's his father's name. It's my father's name too." And everything's good. What were you saying? Are you thinking we're gonna get a death coming up soon?
We're gonna get it instead of the
Baby?
His kid, yeah. I think
baby.
It might be that.
Yeah, Black Manta is a huge deal in Aquaman's lore, so I'm so glad that he was brought into here. And one of his biggest storylines of his depravity is Death of a Prince, in which he kills baby Arthur Curry Jr. And so I didn't see Mira with any bumps on her tummy, so I don't know if that's happening anytime soon. But it's coming. I mean, it's definitely one of the hallmarks of that character. But, how'd you feel about Aquaman just taking on all these mercenaries, knocking people out, shrugging off stabs and like nukes and stuff like that? They shot him with like a torpedo. He was like,
and he was just throwing submarine doors at people.
Submarine doors are not light.
Yeah, that was lit.
I thought that was all pretty cool. And really just hamming it up for the camera, smiling a lot, winking, all that kind of stuff.
Money shots and whatnot.
Cracking jokes and stuff. I thought that was all really, really good. He was definitely very charismatic and a very charismatic beginning to that. But we found out that there's a specific reason why these guys are trying to hijack this submarine. They were going to hijack the submarine to shoot at Atlantis so that Orm, who was just so happens to be walking through that same area with another king of a different sea, King Nereus. I hope I'm saying that right. Played by my man Dolph Lundgren, a.k.a. Drago. Man making money this year.
If he drowns, he drowns.
That's what I needed. We needed that. We needed that in this film. That made me laugh more than it should. But he's like, "Yo, Nereus, we need to go to war with the Earth." And he's like, "I don't know, man. They're not even really doing nothing to us." Yeah. And then on cue, boom, boom, boom. You see, I'm telling you, we got to stop them. And he's like, "Yeah, you're right. We definitely do have to stop them."
I'm with it.
I'm with it now. I'm completely with it. And we also find out that either way, if Orm really wanted to have this war, he couldn't without the help of everybody else, without the other seas in agreement. So he's kind of has his hands tied behind his back. Without any of these other oceans, he cannot. He can't wage official war. Mm-hmm. That's said several times. He wants to wage official war on land, but he can't because he needs everybody's agreement. And he's now got one king, so he's trying to use them to now coerce the rest of them. Mira, yeah, Mira finds out the scheme and it's like, oh, this is not good. I need to go get that guy that I was in Justice League with, Aquaman. We get a pretty cool moment where Aquaman is at a bar with his father, making small talk. When the news speaks of Aquaman's actions, and he's like, "Oh, is that you?" And he's like, "Oh, no, that's not me." And but his father's all like, "Yeah, you're good. You
Yeah,
know,
you're
like
doing it, aren't
you're
you?
finally living up to your lineage
Yeah.
and your heritage and stuff like that." I thought that was pretty cool. And then after a fake out with some bikers, Mira finds him and tries to convince him that war with Atlantis is inevitable and that he is the only one that can stop Orm. How'd you feel about that bar sequence?
I thought the Psyche Mike was pretty cool. I don't know what I was thinking. Agreeing to where I thought they were going with it.
Yeah.
Thinking that they were about
I
to
was
give him
rolling
some
my eyes.
trouble.
I'm like, we've seen this a
Yeah, I was like,
million
yo,
times,
you're about to catch the work in the bar from Fishman.
Yeah, and
You know what I'm saying?
and he's like, the guy's like, "Can I take a selfie?"
His Sophie with the pink phone case and everything.
And then like the progression of photos of like,
them
I
drinking.
don't want to take this picture to, I kind of want to take the picture to, we're taking pictures, bro.
Yeah.
Like all that. I thought that was really
That
really
was
cool.
hell, yeah.
And Arthur's trying to put his inebriated father in the truck when Mira shows
Mira
up
shows up.
and tries to tell him all this, and he's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go home. You good on your own." She's like, "But you stopped Steppenwolf." He's like, "Yeah, it was that long ago, B." And we had to bring a guy back to life. Did I tell you about that? It was a mother box and everything. But but yeah, he drives home with his father. But Orm, hoping to retaliate on the surface world, sends a huge, massive wave to attack, and it crashes down on them. And Arthur is separated from his father, but Mira arrives, rescues Thomas, and kind of sort of changes Arthur's mind when Arthur sees the devastation that the attack from Orm has led. I thought that wave scene was incredibly well done.
Yeah.
When that wave catches up to the car, and then the rushing forces of the wave push them apart.
Yeah, push them apart.
I thought that was really, really well done and really realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ocean is so huge, huge that two people in a car.
Him trying to get to him during that,
Trying to swim through stuff and stuff. How'd you like that whole torpedo swimming in this? There was a lot of that.
I liked it more than I thought I was gonna like it.
Very Man of Steel flying.
Yeah, because I like Superman when he does it when he's flying.
Yeah.
So to see it in water, I kind of like it just a little bit more.
Yeah. Mira and Arthur travel to Atlantis to have a secret under the books meeting with Volko. Did you see it? There was like a air pocket.
Air pocket inside of a ship, surrounded by
Can
water.
Atlanteans breathe outside of water? They can, right? They're just not used to it.
No, some of I think it was explained or touched on a little bit too. Some are better at it than others are.
Yeah, because Orm at one point he gets on land and he's like,
yeah,
he's a little bit like that, and then he's fine. But Volko's in the air pocket, like, and he trained Aquaman on land, like,
on the beach and stuff.
It is what it is. Yeah, so we see Volko, who now he works for Orm, talking about like, oh, you need to get this weapon, bro. It's Poseidon's trident, and it's the key to controlling all the seven seas. And to do that, you need to follow this clue, which will take you to where you gotta go, and that's when like the hunt for, the MacGuffin of this film begins. But like I said again, they're talking about it. Boom! Guards show up, and they're here to take everybody away. They're able to subdue Aquaman, but not Mira and Volko.
Mira can't be seen there.
Yes, because Mira is the wife of Orm.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's straight up regular treason. Volko could have just been like, I'm talking to Aquaman, we talk like,
right.
It is what it is. I'm sorry, but that's what the deal is. But Mira should have nothing to say. And I'm also very curious. They kind of should have spoken about the mother box thing, right?
A little bit, you think so?
Like, Atlantis was charged in holding 1/3 of the most powerful artifact of all time, and Steppenwolf came down, damn near killed Mira, and took it. And Aqua, I keep calling him Arthur tried to help and couldn't. And that was just the end of that, remember?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the mother box did just show up.
Yeah,
I mean, he just did show up through the boom tube and snatched it.
So I know you haven't been reading like issue to issue Aquaman comics, but
Mhm.
when they arrest him, it looks like shot for shot like the cover of this Aquaman book called Aquaman Drowned Earth that's happening right now. I'm gonna see if I can get you a nice little picture of it right here. So there, where he's on his knees.
Oh, when homeboy has him.
Yeah,
When he arrests him,
those
yeah.
chains and all that. That's like straight there, you know.
Right.
And that's he's brought in that book before a council of world, like universe wide ocean
Okay.
people.
Wow.
And so to see him there shackled the same exact way, shirtless, and all that kind of stuff, I was like, oh, that's definitely a callback. And then he's like, what are you doing here, brother? And he's like, I'm here to stop you, whatever. He's like, oh, a challenge.
Yeah.
So
I was like, oh, already no, Arthur, what are you doing?
And he says something like, well, just fight in the ring of fire,
You
or
need to
prepare
try
the ring
it.
of fire, or something like that. I'm like, what is going on here? So yeah, he immediately takes it as like a threat, and he's like, you are here to threaten me. You're here to challenge me for the throne. So I accept your challenge for the duel. And the conditions are, if Aquaman wins, then Orm will give up his plan to destroy the surface world. And if Orm wins, he's just going to kill Aquaman, continue doing what he's doing, and be the Ocean Master, control all the oceans. They prepare for war in a gladiator-esque arena where Topo, the octopus, plays the drums.
Playing the drums.
So Topo is a old comic book character. Back in the day, just like Batman had Robin, Aquaman had Topo, and it was a talking octopus that he used to hang with and stuff. And what's funny is I found that according to James Wan, the octopus sidekick and stuff is the same sidekick from the 1950s and 60s, and that he was originally unsure about putting it in, but once he saw Fury Road and said, if that film could have a guy playing a flaming guitar, I'm gonna have an octopus playing a drum in mine. So I thought that was a pretty cool stance to like put your foot down on. I got confused, right? Because Topo is somebody different in the New 52. In the New 52, Topo is actually the name of that creature that you see him ride in the third act. We're told that Topo is so big and so ancient that no man has ever been able to communicate to him. And at one point in desperation, he's able to get him, control him, and then he faints because he's too.
That's kind of ill.
Yeah, it's too much of it. So I really dug that they were able to put regular Topo in, and then the Topo that I know, the Topo that I know in that. That was pretty cool too. Yeah, Orm like takes it to him, and at many points we're shown that like Arthur doesn't really know combat like this, and even if he does, he doesn't know water-based combat. The physics are all off. They almost like go into that weird lava at several points. But ultimately, right before Orm kills, basically about to kill Aquaman, Mera shows up, saves him. Yeah, saves him, and they boogie. They send guards to go after them, but they see the vehicle get destroyed, so they think, they're dead. Open and shut case. And because they think that they're dead, Aquaman and Mera are able to go to the Sahara Desert to look for the Deserter Kingdom, because they think that's where the Trident is forged. It's there where you see Mera say a lot of things like, oh, you surface dwellers suck, and all this other kind of stuff there. How'd you feel about that like romantic comedy plot of like, we're lost, I know we're lost, you know we're lost?
I mean, you see it so many times. I've said this before, I'm a fan of when it's done either right or kind of creatively, or a little bit of both. I think this time it was a little bit of both, but you can see that they have added their own pizzazz to it. In a sense, so that made it funny.
Do you buy them?
I do. I'm only reason why I'm convinced is because I know in the comments that they're going together.
Yeah.
But I just need a little bit more.
This was
and he kind of stole her from his younger brother.
This randomly jumped into my head, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. Who has better chemistry, Aquaman and Mera in this film, or Ant-Man and Wasp in that film?
Damn, it's kind of tricky because you get him and her like halfway into into the movie.
Yeah.
In a sense, you know what I mean. So it's like I'm still wanting more towards the end of the movie anyway.
Okay.
So at this point, I say it's the Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You buy them more as a couple?
A little bit more, only because even if you put both of the movies side by side, Ant-Man and the Wasp still have been together longer.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
So,
and they also, I think they kissed in the last movie, right? The first one.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, they find the deserter kingdom, hilariously, and then they find a clue. They're able to put the clue in the thing. It's like a real national treasure. Put the light over here, kind of deal. And that opens up a hologram, which gives them another clue, which is that bottle. And so they take that bottle to Sicily, and they eat a bunch of flowers, and then
no, they eat flowers.
They eat flowers.
Well, no, Mira eats the flowers, and he eats a flower too, to kind of not make her feel left out, I guess.
Yes. So they go into Sicily for that. So Sahara Desert, now Sicily. But back in Atlantis, we find out that Orm gave Mira a nice little pearl necklace, but it had a tracker on it. And so he's following her.
Where is the trust?
But he goes to Manta, and he's like, listen, you need to go kill my brother for me. He's like, I'm not doing that. And he's like, well, you couldn't last time because you didn't have enough weapons. So here's some Atlantean weapons.
Some prototype.
And the first thing I thought is, he's not wearing that trash. He's not wearing that.
He's not gonna wear that trash.
I was like, look at that.
But I seen him pick up the blaster. Once I seen him pick up the blaster,
yeah,
I was like, it's over. He's about to redo this whole thing.
Once he started to like tear it apart, jailbreak the Atlantean,
reverse engineer it.
He starts to jailbreak the Atlantean tech and spray paint it black. I was in on it. I loved when they showed the helmet for the first time, and that's a nod to the older helmet that actually had the tubes and stuff like that. But really, like, I like the rivets. Those circle rivets on them.
Yeah,
I really dug that old school diver look that they had with that. But you see him finally get ready, and you see the modifications that will end up giving us the DC comic villain Black Manta. But once Aquaman and Mira arrive in Italy, they find the map because they placed the bottle in the hands of the statue of King Romulus, the first king of Rome. And they look into it, and they find that the location of the weapon is, in my favorite place, the Kingdom of the Trench. But before they can get there, Black Manta just shows up. And he's like, what up?
And badassery.
And they battle and fight and fight and fight. And he, he takes it to Aquaman, and he tells Aquaman, like, you know who I am. And he shows him one of the weapons he tried to use on him earlier on in the film to identify himself as the man whose father was left for dead. How do you feel about the death of Black Manta's father? Like the whole idea, like that he was left to drown and then he blew himself up. And
I mean, it's the choice that you drown or you blow up with your pops.
That was Momoa or Arthur Curry justified in leaving him to die?
That's a little tougher than I expected. I'm gonna say yes and no.
I feel like they let it linger long enough for you to think that he might have been in the wrong.
You think so? That's why I kind of say yes and no, because he could have saved them.
But I mean, beg to see for mercy.
That was kind of tight. That was kind of. I was kind of saving that because he was like, he said, you got onto the ship and killed innocent people. Beg to see for mercy.
I thought that beg to see for mercy line was pretty cold-blooded, but pretty badass considering the whole situation that just happened. Because they tried to stab him, shoot him, they tried all kinds of stuff.
Don't tell me how to pirate.
Oh, yeah. So that, it gets ugly quick. Oh, excuse me. But Manta uses the Atlantean tech to blast Arthur,
and it hurts him too.
Not only does it hurt him,
it burns him.
It singes him. You start hearing sizzling flash, and I was like, "Oh, what a good job of showing stakes!" We saw him shrug all this off, and now things are piercing him. Mm-hmm. Now things are burning him. I started to get scared for him. Oh wait, this is not just a situation where people just swing and things just happen.
Atlantean steel.
Oh, I thought that was so good. But then he throws I did like that weird balls and chain thing that he threw at him.
Oh yeah,
that wrapped around him. I thought that was pretty cool.
Messed him up. all different types of ways.
And I like the desperation where Manta was trying to get away because he knew all his stuff was short
Yes.
circuiting and stuff like that. So that was really cool.
I like the bell bump he did when he shot the bell,
like that bell tower
he,
thing,
and he had to shoulder block it to get it out the way from hitting the person. That was kind of tough too.
Yeah, and that's the save one.
Yeah.
You understand? Because the stakes in here were so huge, but at various points still Aquaman is trying to make sure that no one gets hurt. So I thought that was really, really important too. But they basically leave Black Manta for dead. He falls off a cliff, and we're led to believe that he died. Meanwhile, the Atlanteans are there to take down Mira and arrest her because of the pearl that is the tracking device. And that's where you see Mira trying to take on these men, and like as we said before, she kills them using various bottles of wine. But they are sailing away, and Aquaman's like, hey, I don't feel like I'm worthy of all this. And she's like, listen, you have a good heart, and you're good, and you're going to be the one to unite both worlds. And he's like, I've heard that a million times. Stop telling me that. But the journey continues. The seas turn rough. The clouds get dark, and the rain starts to pour. And Aquaman and Mira's boat is attacked by creatures of the trench. These zombie sharp clawed and sharp toothed monsters. I cannot say enough about the trench scene in this film. It was horrifying and exciting. So good. They're able to use a flare to kind of agitate the monsters of the trench because they fear the light, but they ultimately have to abandon ship. They're being overrun by these creatures, man, like roaches, and so they dive as deep as they can to try to get away from these things, and they just follow. And they,
at one point, it looks like they're all surrounded, and because of the flare that they're using, everybody's just getting out of the way, but following right behind
you've
them.
done this. You've had one of those, what's it called? Bug zappers, right? And how the flies just circle around, like, or you've left a piece of like a candy on the floor or something like that, and see ants or whatever, how they swarm. Like these things were mindless and a horde. Like this is, I would love to play the Aquaman game where you just are in the trench, taking on like level after level of these guys. Because oh my god, between them and those the Outriders from Infinity War, those brainless things that were just trying to charge through the force field, that's a fight I want to see. But they get all the way to the bottom of the trench, and they find like a little crack, and there's like a light on the other side, and then he's like, they go to swim towards him. Mira's like, it might kill us. And he's like, I don't give a damn. Like, what else are we gonna do? Like, look at all these people here. And so they do go through the portal. It's what it's called later on. And that has taken them to the secret sea that is inhabited by prehistoric creatures and Queen Atlanta, who is alive and been alive this whole time. Arthur, who thought she was dead from the trench, they have a little bit of a talk, and he's like, yeah, listen, if you want the trident, it's in there, but it's being guarded by a creature called the Carathin, which I said again in New 52 was called Topo. It's behind the waterfall if you want to get it, but it's basically impossible. Like I said again, I think the Atlanta reveal could have been done later. Did you think that it?
I mean, Atlanta being down there for 20 years, had to seen a couple people come in and try to get the trident and like.
And I wonder if that, because they made it seem like that. At one point, I said she looked like Pickle Rick because she had
all the gear on.
She had the skeleton and bones of the trench all around her, like on her arm and stuff like that, to help her, I guess, defend from the monsters of the trench. Could you imagine that though? Like being sentenced to death by these creatures, getting enough away from these creatures, but never being able to come back. So she was alive, but she couldn't come back, and that sucks. But Aquaman approaches the waterfall, and he meets the Carathin, a huge creature, and it just like laughs at him. It says that you're not worthy of the trident or the power. Many men have tried, many men have failed, and you're not gonna be the one to do this. And he says, I'm just half human, half Atlantean. And you're right, I'm not worthy, but I have no choice because my family, is in danger, and I want to help them. And the creature both thinks that he's worthy because of his selflessness, but also the creature hasn't been spoken to since the original king of Atlantis, King Atlan. So it is definitely feeling kind of special, feeling a type of way.
Yeah.
Like,
But
nobody,
it's like
nobody come down and talk to me. Everybody wants the fork, but no one wants to talk to me.
But since you talk to me, you can try to free the trident from Atlan's grip.
And on the first try.
If you don't, I'm gonna eat you down here.
Oh yeah, she's like, by the way, I haven't eaten in a while, so you're free to go try. But if it doesn't work, I'm gonna chomp down on you. And without even kind of really trying, he just pulls the trident off, and he has it. He got it.
And you see the
whatchamacallit,
them connect with all the
all the sea life. You actually see a visual representation of the so you actually see the rings of him communicating even with creatures of the trench, which a lot of people thought were unreachable. But you have Atlanta, Mera, and Aquaman leave the secret sea because now they have the trident. This entire time, Orm was at war with the crustacean people.
Mm-hmm.
Early on in the film, you see him go to one of the kingdoms, kill their king, and then convince the princess. That is more of my that's more of my like, I did this, now what are you gonna do about it? We still doing this. So to convince one of the kingdoms, he kills the king and makes the very, very young, almost teenage daughter is now the queen. So he just refers to her and he's like, yeah, we should go to war, right? And she doesn't know, so she's like, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So they decide to go to war with the crustaceans. The crustacean kingdom. It's him, Neris, and that other, the fisherman tribe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide to go to war with the crustaceans. You came up with the idea that the crustacean was voiced by Willem Dafoe.
Yes, one of them was
like the king, because he's like, I'll get you, Spider-Man. he's doing all that. I thought it was really funny. Once you pointed it out, I was like, oh yeah, that's totally him.
Mm-hmm.
I was just waiting for that whole, Orm and I,
we're gonna have a hell of a time.
Orm, Mera, and I are gonna have one hell of a time. But we got none of that. But yeah, you get this beautiful underwater war. Blue, red, flares and guns and plasma shooting across these big creatures. And then all of a sudden, the King Kong of Kaiju shows up out of the water. And it's Arthur Curry straddling Topo, aka the Karathan, the humongous kraken-like creature, and this creature is just destroy. There's one point where all the armies just aim fire at it, and it's just taking it. It's just taking all these bullets and destroying whole ships by swinging its arms. Just smash, 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 smash. But the whole point is they have to tell Orm, they have to get Orm to stop this war, and ultimately it should be stopped anyway because Arthur has the trident, and once you have the trident, all the kingdoms of the ocean are subservient to you. You control them all. Mm-hmm. And so Mera tells her father, hey, Aquaman's got the trident. He's like, yeah, you're right. He does have the trident. he's like, yeah, you're right. We stand down.
Then that half-breed is your king.
Yeah, and he's like, I guess he is the king. And so they do a lot of that. Where you start seeing other people stand down, but Orm is not.
Yeah, he's not with it. Nah.
And he decides. I think one of the ships floats to the top, and so him and Aquaman are fighting one last battle, one last fight with the tridents. I liked in the first fight that he's like, "That's trident your mother's. This is my father's.
This is my father's."
I thought that was really, really cool.
He
broke it. But in this one, and he's doing all kinds of haka poses and stuff, my man.
Yeah.
At this various times in this where Jason Momoa is letting all
Jason Momoa
is letting all of his Eastern Islander out, and he's doing all these like exclamations and stuff, and it really made you feel like there was a heritage there. I really, really liked that. I really, really, really dug that. I thought that was pretty cool. But they fight, and Chekhov's swinging trident, right? Because earlier in the film, you see Volko show Aquaman a thing that he won't show him until he's ready. And so this is the one thing that he uses against Orm to battle.
Yeah, it's like a water shield, mist shield that he uses with the trident. That was ill.
Another scene that I did like is that he puts the trident to his throat. And Orm's like, kill me.
Yield.
And he's like, yield. He's like, nah, I'm not yielding.
Yeah,
Like, you're not
kill
taking
me.
my throne. You're gonna kill me. You see everything I just did? I did a lot. You need to kill me for this. And instead of being killed, he looks to the side and he sees his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta shows up.
Breaks
Everyone
up
bows.
the brother fight.
Yep, breaks up the brother fight. They get Volko out of prison because Volko was lying, and so Orm is arrested for his crimes. Aquaman is called the King of the Ocean. And we basically get like a nice little cute envelope, right? Enveloping of the film, where he basically the beginning of it started with narration, the end of it starts with narration.
It's actually the narration from the trailer, that last part.
Yes, it is. My mother, my mother was from sea, my father was from land. They should have never been together.
Lighthouse keeper.
Their love was, prohibited, but it led to me, and now I'm the Aquaman. And the same way the movie opened up, and that's where I'm saying, like, it had elements of being a great movie because it opened up with Thomas Curry saving Atlanta, and the movie basically bookended with her coming back with that one promise that she said from long ago, and then Aquaman finally realizing who he is, saying "I am Aquaman," very "I am Iron Man" moment, and the film ends. In the post credit, we see, speaking of Ant-Man and the Wasp, the actor from Ant-Man and the Wasp who plays the FBI agent, his name something Parks, it escapes me now, but he plays Dr. Shin. Is it Dr. Shin? Yes, Dr. Shin. Dr. Shin in the comics is a guy who's obsessed about Atlantean culture and is willing to sell out on anything to get closer and touch more. So we see that Black Manta was saved. He did not die.
Yeah.
He was saved, and he was Dr. Shin is operating on him, but also playing around with his tech because he realizes his tech is Atlantean. When Manta wakes up, he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I need you to bring me to Atlantis and show me more of this tech." And he's like, "Well, if you help me take down Aquaman." And that's basically how the film ends, and there's no more Pitbull. So Dr. Shin seems to be one of the next person. Now he's not villainous.
Right.
He's just troublesome.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Like, he's not trying to kill anybody, but his actions will get people killed because he's trying to, unearth something that he's
doing too much for his own good.
Yeah, definitely. So that is basically the film in a nutshell. I thought that it was incredibly interesting to see, like I said again, Jason Momoa be vulnerable at certain points and have to fight back and stuff. And James Wan, he did a real good job, even though this is, again, a lot from the 2011 comic. Sometimes comics to movies don't translate 100%, and that's why you need a good director at the helm for that. James Wan had also revealed that when he had a choice of what film he wanted to direct between Flash and Aquaman, he chose Aquaman because Aquaman is the underdog.
Wow,
crazy, right?
I mean, I get it, the butt of a bunch of fish jokes and stuff like that, and getting no respect. I
would have loved though to see a scary take on Reverse Flash, though. I think James Wan could have killed it with that. He also had confirmed that the Atlanteans wouldn't talk inside of those speech bubbles like they did. Remember, they did it in Justice League. Okay. When they kept asking him about it, he was like, "People are overthinking it. They're just gonna talk," and that's literally what happens. You just get the little voice modulator for the water. What do you think about that?
I think that was good. I was a big fan of how everybody sounded underwater. Anyway, so, yep.
Okay, cool.
It's kind of how I thought I would sound underwater.
And Mr. Wan also believes that the Aquaman's heritage, his Atlantean heritage, is what makes him different, because he says we're used to superhero movies where the threat is from another dimension or aliens from another universe coming here and trying to destroy Earth, but we haven't seen one in which the main threat is from a massive civilization right underneath our noses. The idea that there could be a massive civilization living right underneath us that we don't know about is kind of scary and exciting. Which, he's killing. This is also the first DCEU film to be shot entirely with digital cameras. And Leonardo DiCaprio was going to produce this film with his own production company. But then that's probably when they were talking to him about Joker and all that kind of other stuff. With the release of Aquaman, the DCEU crosses $4 billion at the box office, making it the first franchise to cross the milestone with with 6 movies. Although I mean, first franchise. I'll look into that. But yeah, this had the lineage out the wazoo because I'm gonna butcher this too. Temoria Morrison, Aquaman's pops. He also played Green Lantern. I mean, sorry, he played a Green Lantern. He played Abin Sur in Green Lantern. Nicole Kidman played Dr. Chase Meridian in Batman Forever. Willem Dafoe played Norman Osborn in Spider-Man.
Once you in the comic book game, it's for life. They pull you back in.
Dolph Lundgren played my man the Punisher in The Punisher. First ever film. And I'm going to give you this one because you should have this one. So if you don't, I want you to be embarrassed in front of everybody. Patrick Wilson, what other comic book movie was he in? Ocean Master.
Shh.
You got it.
What other movie he was in?
Comic book
movie?
Yeah.
I feel like this is. I feel like you gave this to me because I won't know, and I feel like.
No, you would know.
I would know.
Yeah.
Have I seen this movie?
Yes, you have.
It's
a DC property.
Did I like this movie?
Yes.
I'm gonna go Watchmen.
Oh.
Wow. Who? Oh, it was Owlman, right?
Night Owl.
There you go, Owlman. There you go. Ooh, wow, that just
yeah,
came out
Patrick Wilson. Owlman. So you got
for
there.
life. For life.
As far as Jason Momoa goes as a cast member, it turns out Jason Momoa would play pranks on everybody on the set. All of his cast members. He didn't give a damn. The only person he would not prank is Nicole Kidman.
Oh wow.
But he also added more blonde highlights to his hair to get closer to the Arthur Curry part of it, and I felt that too. There's a scene I think in the submarine where he turns, and I'm like, he's a lot more blonde than I remember him. He's almost like a sun-kissed blonde, like the sun changed his hair to blonde. So I thought that was pretty cool. And what's funny is that supposedly his suit was supposed to be a surprise, the first suit, but Zack Snyder put up a photo of it and kind of blew that all to smithereens. But I do like this suit better.
Yeah, I do like this suit better. Hell yeah.
Jason Momoa starred in a TV show, a version of Stargate in 2004. You know what it's called?
What?
Stargate Atlantis. He had to wear contact lenses for the film because the character has blue eyes initially. And like I said again, this is the third film where Aquaman takes place, where Aquaman was a character, because you have BVS and Justice League. But this is the first full-length feature film centered around the character ever.
Yes,
so
it is.
That is huge.
Aquaman coming back for all the respect. Not even coming back for the respect. Taking the respect that he so richly deserves.
There was a lot to do about Mira. Because Amber Heard said in an interview that she would read books between takes, just try to read up. And I can see her with her legs crossed, reading a nice book in between takes. But that Jason Momoa would purposely rip out the pages of the book so she would pay attention to him. So eventually, her reading material was kept in a special book bag made of green screen fabric that allowed her to keep her books close even when filming special effects shots.
Oh, that's cool.
She also says that when they were filming underwater, every cast member had to be hosed down to be wet, and then they had to take place on they had to shoot on a cold stage.
Oh my god.
And even though Mira and her king appear as father and daughter, in the comics they're unrelated and they're married. King Nereus sends Mira to go kill Aquaman, and I thought that was interesting. A nice, interesting little twist that they made. One of the rumors was saying that Mira might was gonna be. Woo! One of the rumors was saying that Mira was gonna be a non-Caucasian to match up with Jason Momoa's mixed race status.
Oh.
But it was put to rest because Amber Heard was her.
Nice.
And if you look in the background, you can see the Annabelle doll in one of the scenes. Crazy.
Go ahead, James.
Like I said, you had Ocean Master, and Orm means snake in Swedish. Patrick Wilson describes Ocean Master as an eco-terrorist. Like I said before, he very clearly has a gripe with the surface world, which has been polluting his oceans for centuries. And let's talk about the unsung hero of this, Dolph Lundgren as Nereus. You know why he's an unsung hero?
Why?
By completing this film, Dolph Lundgren is the first actor to star in both the Arrowverse and the DCEU. And I mean, he played
The
that Marvel
first-
property, so he might be the first
the
one to hit the
first-
trifecta.
First double, triple dipper.
Yep, and he punched Apollo Creed to death. So
Oh, Jesus Christ.
there is that too. But yeah. But oh, Randall Park is the name of Dr. Stephen Shen, a marine biologist who is friends with Thomas Curry. I know you saw the doggy.
Yes, I did.
That is a nod to the golden retriever
Right,
that
I was just
Aquaman
about
and
to
Mira
say that he had a
adopt,
golden retriever.
and who they call Aquadog. So I thought that was pretty cool. The first helmet that you see Manta working on is a Golden Age Black Manta helmet. That's the one that ends up getting destroyed.
Right,
and
that's when he says,
it.
I'm going to need a bigger helmet.
Yeah. And at one point, the dead king, the person that was holding the trident, was to appear as the film's main villain.
Wow.
But he was removed. That's a story in the comics. It's the Return of the Dead King, where he comes back and he's like, "You guys did nothing of what I wanted."
Zombie or something, right?
Yeah, he's like an ice zombie. He can like freeze people, all kinds of stuff, real cool stuff. But again, that more than anything tells me that they try to put everything in the book.
A little bit of, yeah.
Because that is one of the stories that, as you go on. But yeah. Last but not least, Michael Beach, who plays Jesse Kane, the father of Black Manta, previously voiced Devil Ray, the other name for Black Manta, in Justice League Unlimited. So, like father, like son. And Arthur and Mira faked their death by hiding in a giant fish, which Arthur says he got from where?
Fish?
No. Where did he get the idea to hide inside of a giant fish?
Pinocchio.
This is true. And it's also the second superhero film in the last 4 years to mention Pinocchio. Do you know what the other one is?
I do not know. Wait. Maybe, was it Spider-Man?
No. I'll give you another hint before I give you the answer. The hint is it sings a song from Pinocchio.
Oh, Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. Ain't no strings,
on me. Yep.
Check that. I'm actually proud of you for that. I'm proud of you for that. I am definitely proud of you for that. Anything else you want to say about Aquaman? Just also, and then, like I said,
Aquaman.
It's there. It's the clay that it's going to be shaped to make these things better. Because to tell you the truth, I had the issues I had about that film, but even just talking about it now with you, I'm smiling. Like I'm happy.
I feel like it's a little hard to dislike.
Yeah,
I feel so.
I feel like some people have an axe to grind.
But I don't know how.
DC's playing with people's money.
Yeah, but they've been playing with people's money for a long time.
They have.
As far as the DCEU goes.
Yeah, but I feel like at this point, people are coming in droves to see these movies. Justice League did not do bad because the movie was worse than any other film. People just didn't go. You understand? So it's up to that. Like, do people trust DC enough for this? If you're taking our word for it, then you're kind of waited too long because you just spoiled the whole movie. But I say go see it purely on the strength of A, you need to support all these superhero movies. Yeah. And B, because you need to make up your mind for yourself. So watch the movie, take the good with the bad, and I to tell you the truth, in my opinion, the good outweighs the bad. I just hope that whatever is deemed bad is dealt with later. Don't just leave these as problems for the rest of your franchise. You got Shazam around the corner, baby. Yeah. And I don't know if you can I don't know if you got time to waste.
I feel like Shazam is the...
It got the backpack kid dance. I'm pretty sure Shazam's going to be just fine. But when Shazam comes out, you're going to want a place to sit there and talk about it. And what other better place is there to be than the Major Issues podcast, which is available wherever podcasts are found. That's Stitcher, Podbean, Podcast Addict, Google Play. The Apple Podcast app that is available and pre-installed into every iPhone.
Like that U2 album.
Yeah, like that U2 album that nobody wanted. I'm glad there was no YouTube in this film. But yeah, we're available wherever podcasts are found. So if you have an iPhone, there's already a podcast app already on your phone, even though you didn't ask for one. Go there, search Major Issues Podcast, and you'll find us and our litany of episodes. We have passed the 1 year mark, so shuffle through all of our episodes and see what you like, what you don't. Give us a rating and review. I want to thank all those who have been rating and reviewed and been listening this whole time. We have grown exponentially in our audience, and I want to thank you guys for sticking with us This wasn't easy in the beginning, but we're really starting to feel we're really getting our fins and our gills and while we take a deep dive and we're turning the tide. As this new wave of I'm running out of
puns.
I'm running out of puns. And even though there's plenty of fish in the sea, the fish that you want to catch is the Major Issues Podcast. So make sure that you are Googling. And if you can't find it any of those ways, literally just Google Major Issues Podcast. We're the first ones that pop right up. And we are brought to you by Comic Book Clique. So if you want to reach us on all forms of social media, you can reach us at facebook.com/comicbookclick, Instagram at comicbookclick, or use the hashtag comicbookclick to talk about the newest, hottest, latest, and greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media. You can reach me at Major Issues CBC. That is the Major Issues Twitter handle on the Twitter machine. And that's where I'll be doing a lot of my rogue roundups or backstories on certain heroes, certain villains, picking out some of the cool debuts that we've been seeing as far as the Arrowverse and even the MCU and speculation and news. We do that all at Major Issues CBC on Twitter. But that will be the end of I guess, this little wave. One of our last episodes in 2018. 2018. All right.
Yeah, all right.
Should I pee on it? I could have peed on it. You have that there too. But my name is George Serrano, aka The Don.
I am your Cloudus Maximus.
And this has been your super secretive, super spoiler-filled Aquaman 2018 review. And remember, whether you're half Atlantean or half human, whether you haven't been talked to in decades because you're a big old crab, whether you awkwardly like to eat roses, or whether your entire army looks like they should be working in Soho in the Apple Store, or if you're just a cool, bad MFer like Black Manta, I just had to give him a little bit of his moment right there to shine. Remember that... Oh. Bug just tried to attack me. Okay, I'll do this again. And whether or not you are a fish man, a shark man, a turtle man, a crab person, crab people, whether or not you have Atlantean tech or you're just running a lighthouse, whether or not you're black, white, blue or green, blonde, brunette, bearded or tattooed, remember that you can grab the trident. The trident?
Mm-hmm.
We can grab the trident because we are the Clique, and you, yes you, are worthy.